5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Wednesday Night SKOL Experience post-draft. It's the first time that we've all got, me, Jamie, and Dave gotten together to talk about this. But tonight we are joined by a couple of guests. Obviously, you guys know Rhino of Vikings Uncensored. He has been on the show before, but we are joined by what looks to be a new Vikings fan, JJ McCarthy, Michigan fan. We got Bryce in the building. Fellas, how you guys doing tonight?
Dude, another day with a potential franchise quarterback and a cornerstone of our defense for years to come. Can't complain too much about that. One thing I want to mention before we move on here, because we're going to kind of dig. With Bryce on here, we got to dig into some JJ McCarthy. I'll do some shout-outs. We got SKOL Mafia in the building. What up, SKOL Mafia? Roger, what is going on? Tonight, I do not have any Viking cards to give away. I said this on our Monday show because I ran out, and I am working on some JJ McCarthy cards to give away. But instead, we are going to give the future face of the NBA, Anthony Edwards rookie card giveaway. So get those hashtags in the comments, like the video, and subscribe. SKOL Mafia won the Anthony Edwards card on Monday, actually. Hey, you could win one again.
And welcome to SKOL NBA Live.
Let's go, Wolves. We got it, baby. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Enthusiasm for the T-Wolves on here? Or is it not quite Vikings level?
It happens once we actually make the playoffs and win a game. Okay. Then it becomes exciting.
Yeah.
Or this year was extra special because we actually were pretty good all year.
Yeah, Roger.
It hasn't happened in like 20 years. So.
It's been a while. When Kevin Garnett was in his prime in a Timberwolf, that was the last time.
Yeah, this is
been a while.
They were the worst franchise. They were the worst franchise in sports
history.
For 20 years straight. So
it's
a big deal.
Wait, is that
based off of wins and wins?
Just record. They were 30. Whatever the last team is.
They were the team that made, or what was it? They
the worst winning percentage in NBA history.
Well,
right?
and they missed playoffs for the most consecutive years out of any sports in history.
Well, that was all of Minnesota sports, it seemed, too, because of the Twins.
Well, the Twins made it, but they lost
streak right now.
The Twins made it, but they lost. They didn't win a game in the first
18 in a row.
Yeah.
We lost 18 straight playoff games.
Yeah,
have you got
since the Moneyball year 2004, I think. Oakland A's.
Wow. So if you've got Vikings, T-Wolves, Wild, Twins, what's the order?
Lynx, Vikings.
Well, Lynx have won a championship. I guess
the Lynx are the best team in Minnesota sports history.
I guess it all kind of depends
what's the soccer team? I don't know.
What's going on, Raylan Dodd? Big Raylan Dodd.
Minnesota United or whatever it is.
Yeah. I think they're the Loons.
But Vikings and Timberwolves, those are my top two teams for sure. Easily.
I was gonna say it definitely depends on how you view the sports in general. I don't know. I have baseball and basketball kind of close to each other. So mine is probably for me, Wolves and Twins are very close to each other, and then Wild. I don't care about hockey, so the Wild are kind of down there for me.
In case anybody know, we got Bryce Sack here. Love the last name, very footballish. I think Dallas Turner. Hopefully, we'll have a lot of them. I found him on Twitter. I think the day of the draft, he posted a video, went 50K-ish viral with the Vikings Twitter. They embraced him about becoming a Viking fan. He said, "Heck with the Lions and the Bears. I'm a Vikings fan now." He's a college football fan. He's an amazing Blue fan. He's coming over to be a fan of JJ McCarthy. He needs to get a mini helmet behind him to match that Wolverine helmet back there. So we'll get one of those. Welcome, man, to the fanhood, the misery that is the Minnesota Vikings, the near misses that are the Minnesota Vikings. Make sure we get blown out in the NFC title game, the Vikings. That's us.
Hey, what up? No, stop.
There'll be a quiz later.
Yeah, you picked an interesting year to leave the Lions fan base. After they finally got good, but
there's a story there. So I grew up in Michigan and then lived in Chicago for 6 years. Now I'm in Texas, but moving back to Michigan shortly. And so that was I was in Michigan obviously during the 0-16, but then Jim Schwartz, Ndamukong Suh, that whole era turned me off. when you've got Ndamukong Suh, curb stomping Aaron Rodgers. Which say what you want about Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure this group here doesn't love that guy, but say what you want about him. Didn't love the stomping, and then I moved to Chicago. I've got a Bears hat. I've got a Jim Harbaugh Bears jersey. Try to be a Bears fan, but that franchise is a mess, and I didn't feel I was loyal enough to stick around. And so, yeah, Lions good now. Plus, they have Aiden Hutchinson, and they got Donovan Peoples-Jones, 2 Michigan Wolverines. But that tweet, I think, put me in a box now. Now I'm wearing purple and gold.
Let's go.
I
Hey,
won't mention how I wanted to get Sue in free agency a couple years ago.
Yeah. Is he still? I think he's still in the league.
Well, I think he's a free agent. He's doing that same thing. He's a gun for hire, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, excited. A warm welcome from Viking. I don't know, you guys call it SKOL Nation. SKOL?
Yes.
Yeah,
We're-
Minnesota nice, as they say.
yeah.
That's what you get here.
Except in the
Purple-
chat. Except in the
Purple
chat.
Gang. Purple Gang. For our community specifically, we go by Purple Gang over here. So, hey, welcome to join this area here. I mean, can't go wrong. So that means overall, you've just been a huge Michigan fan. Like, you're just Michigan over pro teams, pretty much.
Die hard. Yeah, Michigan football won, and then Michigan basketball close second. But my dad went to Michigan. I've been to a game every year since I was 8, and love them. Actually have our own YouTube show with a buddy, one of my best pals. He's an Ohio State fan, so it's called Scarlet and Blue Show. Go check it out.
Yeah,
Nice
definitely go check that out.
But yeah, diehard Michigan fan through and through.
All right,
Now, that's got to be an interesting show. Michigan and Ohio State.
That'd be a good one.
That's got to be.
Yeah,
you took the upper hand recently, huh?
Well, and you got that's after 2 decades of
right.
misery. Like Michigan 2000 and before sounds a lot like what Vikings fans deal with, just on the precipice at times of greatness, and then just farting their way,
and then
you guys throwing it away.
You guys,
we've always been on the precipice of greatness.
Yes,
I mean, and also
every 9 years.
And I'm a Gopher fan, so I understand misery and when it comes to college sports.
Yeah, it seemed like frickin' we'd have you in the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden some shit would go down. Like I don't know if that was Wisconsin, where they blocked a punt and won it on a block punt. But yeah, it seems like we had this is our year to beat Michigan. No, not this year.
Harbaugh's first season in 15, we were in Minneapolis, and you guys had an opportunity to score the last minute. I think went for it on 4th, and it was a goal line stop. And that was Jim's
that
first.
sounds all right.
Yeah, Halloween night.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't follow Harbaugh to the Chargers. He must be like JJ McCarthy, the best quarterback in Michigan history, according to Harbaugh. Just a little bit better.
I was going to ask you guys if I could go both. If I could have an AFC team and an NFC team.
Absolutely, why not?
Yeah,
Chargers would be the AFC team.
That's coming from Casey, who's got 2 NFC North teams.
Casey's a closet Lions fan.
Casey's the Lions fan on this channel.
I mean, if you win AFC team, like if there's one of these guys if we're in the Super Bowl against each other, like where are we leaning here?
Ooh, and Chargers got 2 Wolverines in the draft too.
Yeah, but you're talking about the guy that came in and won Michigan a national championship.
I gotta be careful what I say here.
Harbaugh's been there. JJ McCarthy was the difference for that school. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
my! I guess we can pivot a little bit off of that. So I guess you've obviously watched. You've watched way more Michigan football than the rest of us have. Like we with JJ McCarthy, we see the highlights, we watch what we can. We like from the outside looking in, we see the things that we like and the things we hear that are great about him. But what are the Vikings getting? And I like to push the name JJ out. I just call him Jonathan James McCarthy because I think it sounds badass. What are we getting in Jonathan James McCarthy for the Vikings?
Oh my goodness, yeah, JJ. I think to add some context to JJ and just Michigan fans. Again, if we go back to the COVID year, he was still in high school, senior year of high school then, and Michigan football was in a really tumultuous spot, and people wanted Harbaugh's head. And so then JJ tweeted out, everyone calm down, to Michigan fans. And in a weird way, high school senior saying that kind of settled down the fan base because this is your blue chip, this is your 5-star, this is your top recruit of the class coming in and being like, hey, we're going to be all right. Fast forward 3 years, we won a freaking national championship. Like that still hasn't really hit me. And I was at the game in Houston, and this is kind of a surreal thing still to say. I mean, that's a Super Bowl for you guys, or for us now. So to get to that pinnacle and have him largely be responsible for holding a piece of this ship together, there's a special place in the heart of Michigan fans for number 9, which I saw that his number came out. He's going to be number 9. In the purple
Now,
and
going
gold.
back to high school, he actually, so he was going to lose his senior year because of COVID. They weren't going to play where he was at. So he came down to IMG Academy, which is, when I first came here, it was like this place that tennis players and I think golfers came out of. And when I came back, like 20 years, I don't know, 10, 15 years later, it now had like football and basketball and was just loaded. And they played an 8-game season, and he ended up being named national champions, like the best team in America. And so he actually tweeted, and then he was going to go to Ohio State because he was an Ohio State fan. And then they recruited another quarterback in his class that they said they wouldn't. And he said, screw him. And he went to Michigan. And he says, I used to love them, and now I want to kill them, quote unquote, in Wikipedia. I get my stuff from Wikipedia. Did I sum it up there?
That's exactly right. Yeah, they took Ryan Day, that clown show down there. He took Kyle McCord, who's now the quarterback at Syracuse, and passed on JJ McCarthy. And I should be nice to Ryan Day because he did that. And now Kyle McCord's at Syracuse, JJ McCarthy, top 10 pick, and yeah. So what are you going to get out of the JJ? The guys, I mean, I want to give you more than what you hear the analysts who've watched like 2 games say, but the dude's a freaking winner. Like the kid can rally the troops. He can bring success to any program, any franchise, any team. And I think his upside is there. And I've watched every single snap that kid has played. He can make every throw. Now, has he made and does he make every throw? Not all the time. Go back to the Bowling Green game, threw 3 picks. Obviously, TCU. I'm reading some of the comments here. JJ's never faced adversity. Go back to that TCU game. You could argue he lost us that game in the semis 2 years ago. And so
he had like 350 yards throwing that game.
Yeah, he had a great game.
Guys, I do my homework, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah. But he had 2 back-breaking pick sixes that kept us out of the game. And that was, it's
adversity. He lost a chance of playing the national title, came back the next year and won the motherfucker.
Yeah.
He'd be back.
Hey, I mean, that's something. It's not easy to win a national championship.
Oh, to come back and do that?
Yeah.
That's pretty
and you mentioned that Bowling Green game. I think my favorite, like when I was watching, because I found there's a YouTube or a YouTube page that Big Ten, they showed like every throw from or every play from every game from JJ McCarthy. One of the things I noticed with that Bowling Green game is, yeah, he played bad, right? And I think he was coming off of a game where I think he had 1 incomplete pass, and it was probably one of his top games. And then he plays that game, doesn't play well. But the thing I love to see is that was the bottom, like that was the worst part. And from there, he
still blew him out by like 40.
Right, and then during the combine, he was talking to Rick's former general manager, Rick Spielman of the Vikings, and one of the other guys for I think it was for CBS, and they asked him about that game, and he's like, "Well, yeah, I went into that, and honestly, it's like I was playing a little too high. Like I just came off a game where I won in completion, and I thought I kind of owned the world, and I was humbled that day, and from there I decided I didn't take him seriously enough, and I changed my mindset on that. Like that to me, I'm like, that's what you want. You want a guy who can realize like I messed up that game. I take it on myself, and he had 1 more interception the rest of the season. Like that's one of the things. Like when I was watching, I'm like, I love that his worst game was week 3, and he never had a game that even came close to that bad the rest of the year.
No,
Ryan, do you got something to say?
I'm just taking it all in over here. Listening to the story of our future franchise guy there.
Yep.
Do we have a JJ hater down here?
Oh, go ahead.
No, he's fine.
No,
Wait, are you talking?
Oh, I just hasn't said anything. I was trying to get him in, but I'm really blunt about it. I'm really blunt. Okay, speak.
Isn't there a 5 games?
Yeah,
I'm over here marionetting him.
I did a bunch of research, ahead of time. My co-host on Vikings on South Brunswick, he had a severe man crush on him, so figured we needed to study up so that I could kind of hold him in check when we did our pre-draft discussions and things like that. And yeah, everything I saw about the kid, the more tape I watched, the more I liked. Just the biggest thing that caught me was how spot on he was on third downs and those critical downs, where they needed 3rd and 7 to keep the game moving or whatever. And time after time, and the stuff I was watching, the kid delivers it, and that's huge when it gets to the NFL level.
He took us into Columbus last year, 2 years ago, and we hadn't won. Michigan hadn't won in Columbus at Ohio State since.
CJ Stroud was a QB, so listen up.
Well, CJ Stroud was QB. JJ threw 3 touchdowns and ran for a third. You look at his completion percentage, is nothing that wows you, but still threw 3 touchdowns and led that team to the biggest regular season victory that we've had in probably 2 decades. And so there's an attitude, there's a winning mentality that he has. The guys get behind him, and I think the upside is there. He can make every throw. We've seen it. I think he can improve on some of his touch passes.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are times you get guys down the sidelines that he's got to just put a little more air under the ball, let his receivers make the play, put the ball where it needs to be. But I mean, you saw
that was the only thing, just to butt in there. That was the only thing that I didn't see in tape that I've seen was that his throwing the ball downfield. He threaded some needles. That was some crazy needle threading going on. And like Rhino says, he's third down accuracy, just accuracy overall is fine. Mobility is like a freak. I call him a cheat code when it comes to scrambling. Like if he has that sixth sense like Mahomes has, because Mahomes he had the same 40 time as Peyton Manning, but yet for some reason he looks like he's just faster than he is. I think McCarthy might have that sixth sense if anybody was to have it, of getting out of trouble, and I think he's got that. What is your thoughts there?
Absolutely, that's well put. I think he does. His third down. I don't have the number. His third down completion percentage, or his third down productivity, is off the charts, and he can make plays happen. And I think he gets a lot of criticism about the offensive line because Michigan had 2021, 2022 had the best offensive line, won the Joe Moore Award, which is the top offensive line in college football twice, and I think they were one of the finalists this last year. So they get a lot of criticism that it's the run game, it's the big boys up front. But then you kind of look at it and you look, well, our guard went 3rd round, other guard went 4th or 5th round, and then the tackle I think went 7th round, and then the other tackle didn't get drafted. Both other tackles that came in didn't get drafted beyond that, and then our center didn't get drafted either. And so I think that to me almost proves the point that JJ did have to make plays, and he did. And you look at the throws he had a couple against Alabama, which is an Alabama Nick Saban defense. He had a couple against Ohio State where he gets out of the pocket and makes something happen, keeps drives alive. And I think in today's NFL game, you guys know better than I would, but watching Patty Mahomes, that's a different type of style. I know that's why people are excited about Caleb Williams,
right?
And I think JJ's not far behind.
And I think, and I remember they recently showed the clip of JJ's first touchdown in Michigan, where he scrambled way out to the right and then he threw all the way back across the field. And like that's what you like, and just his ability to get, like Dave said, escape pressure is huge. He, like he said, like when they asked him about it, he's like, "Yeah, I went out there. It was my first play, our first touchdown. I went out there to make a play. Probably was told afterwards, don't do that again, but I had to do it." Like,
yeah, that is what I want out of a quarterback so bad, and it probably is because of Patrick Mahomes, and obviously it takes a lot more than that. I know, like you said, Caleb Williams is like the best anyone's have seen doing something like that since Patrick Mahomes, as far as someone coming out of college. And that's the reason why he went number 1, I think, over anything else, is just because he's able to kind of just be able to, I mean, even what Dave said, like it's kind of that sixth sense, like you can feel pressure and escape the pocket. And the thing that's special about these kind of players like JJ McCarthy and Caleb Williams is they keep their eyes down the field and they make plays with their arms. It's not like you escape the pocket and you just use your legs. And I know a lot of people say actually with JJ McCarthy that they kind of think that he should use his legs even more. And I do want to bring up because we were talking about his athleticism and stuff, is he had the 7th best 3-cone time at the combine out of all the players, which is ridiculous. That it's something that you didn't. Yeah, out of every single position in the combine, he was in 7th place for the 3-cone drill, which is insane. Because you don't see him run all that often like that during
6.88.
6.88. Yeah, dude, insane. So it just shows you all the athleticism he has. But then plus, I mean, that Alabama game and that throw he made when he was getting right before he was getting hit and he threw that ball. I think that was to Wilson, right? It was.
Yeah,
and who was hitting him?
That was insane.
Who was hitting him? Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner was hitting him. Yeah, Dallas Turner unfollowed him on Twitter after that or something. He said.
Yeah.
But dude, that's insane. Like that is that play right there is just the stuff you can't teach. You can't teach that. For you to have the athleticism first to jump up and grab the ball and then just have the awareness to be looking to look downfield and know somebody's open.
Well, he was wide open, but
still, you got someone. You got someone. You just caught the ball and you got a guy in your face and you turned around and threw to a guy open. That's awareness right there.
And we ran that play 2 years ago.
I don't care how wide open that guy is. That was an insane play. And I think those are the kind of things that you just can't teach. And that's like the thing with Caleb Williams too, is like, you're just doing things that you can't teach and improvising. It's a lot of improvising things. I really like that. Obviously it takes more than that. You have to be able to throw out of the pocket and things like that, especially in the NFL. But obviously JJ McCarthy did that. I mean, playing in a pro style offense. One question I had for you. So what is it then? Do you think it really is this run first offense that Harbaugh runs the reason why his stats were down? Like, is for you, is there that big question mark saying like this, that he could be a game manager in the NFL because he hasn't, just because he plays safe or throws a lot of checkdowns? Or do you think it's mostly because of the run first offense that he played in and that Harbaugh didn't really open it up for him, I guess you'd say?
Yeah, and add on to that question is like when people say like Harbaugh didn't trust him to throw the ball or trust him to make plays, that kind of lumps into the same question. But does any of that have any merit?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a run first offense, and I think if you want to look at kind of his highlights and his stats, and talk about highlights, like go look at Caleb Williams' lowlights. We talk about highlights all the time. Go look at Caleb's lowlights. Like they're pretty atrocious. They're pretty bad. And so people get caught up in the crazy plays that each team makes or each player makes. And JJ, let's call it how it is. JJ didn't have any opportunities. He was on with Rich Eisen during the draft week. And then Sharon Moore, the new Michigan football coach, or new head coach, was on as well. And they shared a story that Michigan fans never heard, but JJ went up to Sharon after the Penn State game. Now, if you guys remember the Penn State game, you may not, but if those of you don't know, Michigan did not throw the ball once second half.
Yeah, he had 8 passes.
Yeah, 8 passes. So they actually did throw one, but it was a defensive pass interference, and so that play was obviously null. And so the stat sheet said no passes. And he went up to Sharon after the game, or maybe the next day in practice during film, and said, "Do you not trust me? Do you have confidence in me?" And Sharon was like, "Absolutely not." And then he actually unleashed him a little bit against Maryland, but then JJ had a real banged up ankle. And then we saw what he did against Ohio State, saw what he did against Alabama, and then, of course, in the national championship game. And so, to answer your question, I do. I think the offense is really prohibiting to showcasing his talent. I'll tell you this, and I'll say this with as much confidence and certainty as I've ever said anything. You put JJ in like a Lincoln Riley USC offense, you put JJ in the Ohio State offense, he's put up those yards. I guarantee it. Look at it.
See, that's what I love, because you've watched, like you said, you watched every snap of this kid. Because, I mean, for us, I didn't really dive into him until this offseason, and I watched like the all 22 tape or whatever. We kind of dig into some of that stuff, but it's different when you're sitting there and you're watching every single time he throws and just seeing that there's just untapped potential in him. But obviously they made the right decision because they ended up winning a national championship. The way Harbaugh ended up coaching was the way to do things. But it's nice to hear you say that and just know that I think if he has the opportunity in the right offense, which Kevin O'Connell's offense with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson, with Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill on the other side. Aaron Jones is a running back. This is going to be as explosive as an offense you could possibly imagine. You mentioned Ohio State, USC. This is going to be the Vikings for him, and you're going to be able to see all of that. And that's one thing I think a lot of Michigan fans are going to be really excited about, is to actually see what his potential really was as far as really opening up an offense, since you weren't able to see that to full extent.
And coming into a Kevin O'Connell offense that is very much pass first. And the thing, like, I think if it does get to the point where they do need to put him in there week 1, I think he will be able to run the offense. Like, he won't be able to run it to the extent that Kevin O'Connell trusts his quarterback. So, like, he probably won't be up there, obviously changing plays, doing checks at the line, but he could get in there and at least run the offense and run it well. And then while he develops, kind of learning the rest of the game and how it's going to work in the pros. So I don't know, man. All I know is I wasn't a big, because I was one of those guys when the draft process started. I looked at the stats and I'm just like, he had a game where he threw for 80 yards. Like, it's a game manager. I don't want him on my team. And then the more you watch him, you do start seeing some of those things that you're just like, oh, then Jamie, before we started,
I came to Casey.
Yeah, Jamie pointed out, he's like, hey, just watch, like, when you watch him, just watch how he operates within the pocket. Like, that's what we need. We need a guy that's like that, a guy that can escape and move. And
well,
that
is confident.
I didn't notice when watching that.
It's his confidence.
That's one of the biggest things I've seen with McCarthy is, when you're comparing him to Caleb Williams earlier, is McCarthy plays from the pocket, but he can go off structure and, when he needs to, get out there. A lot of the stuff I watched with Caleb Williams, it looked like he almost made things harder on himself than needed to be, because he was out there trying to
playing hero ball.
The hero ball. I got to have a Sports Center highlight every time I throw the ball.
Right.
Run around 17 times, and when he could have just had a simple drop back pass 15 yards and move the chains, he had to, try to be, for no better term, it's the hero.
One of the things I did before my my video was I was going to go in so negative, because I had him ranked 6th in the process, and then I had him like 3rd-ish, 4th, and I gave him the edge because I didn't think we would have to trade up for him as much or give up as much. So I was like, hell, I'll take him if we get to keep that 23rd. That's who I want. So I was pretty happy when it happened. But I went in looking back at him and I wanted to go in negative, like prove it to me. And I'm like, okay, let me go to high school. And I go look at his highlights from high school, and I'm like, the guy had the footwork back then. He had the poise, the pocket presence, moving around the pocket. I was like, oh, he's just going to be sitting back there for 10 seconds, having his choice of people to throw to. And I thought, oh, his like loaded team is going to be making plays for him. No, I mean, he was leading receivers, just coming, throwing them open, hitting guys right in the chest. He had footwork. I know this is a love fest for having a JJ McCarthy, but he had it in high school. That's what I thought about Jaden Daniels in high school. He had it in high school too. So and then I didn't even realize the other stuff. Like, he was a 5-star recruit that he spurned Ohio State. I didn't know all that stuff until I started looking to him after we picked him, because all I really cared about was college. But to dive into him deeper, he's actually, I think, 5th grade. He decided, like, I'm going to get good grades now, and I'm going to make sure I'm good at sports. And then the hockey thing, and I was just, and then he decided to just dedicate himself to football. So this is a guy that had a plan at fucking 10 years old, and now he's top 10 quarterback or top 10 draft pick.
Yeah, I think he's got.
After that,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Even after that TCU loss 2 years ago, he said, we're gonna be back and we're gonna win the damn.
Yeah, he said we'll be back.
Next year.
And he was back.
He guaranteed it. Yeah, he did. And don't get it twisted. Michigan's run game is awesome. I think Blake Corum, he's a great in our mind, and we loved him forever. And that defense was insane. I mean, Washington's with Michael Penix and Rome Odunze, that offense was nuts, and we held them to 13 points, which is insane still to talk about. But so were there times where he had people to bail him out? Absolutely. But at the same time, too, that offense, that championship, that none of this happens without number 9. And so, yeah, I think he's – and I actually want to talk to you guys about this. So Kevin O'Connell, so I don't know a ton about him. Sounds like he's a pass first type coach, wants
Easily.
to open it up the offense for his quarterback, sling it around. I know the weapons are obviously there, but this is a good fit, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. As far as if he ends up being who we want him to, who you say he can be, is like if he can really open. That's a big question mark. Can he really open up an offense, and can he be that number one guy? Like it's going to be pass first and KOC. That I mean. He got the best 2 years out of Kirk Cousins up until his injury. He brought Josh Dobbs in here and had like the best little stretch he's had, and same with Mullins and all these things. So he's not just known for being a pass first guy that's going to open up the offense for him, but he also just makes these quarterbacks better. And whether that's whether he's helping behind closed doors, or he's just the play calling, his scheme and all those kinds of things. But it's like absolutely the most perfect situation. I think I know a lot of analysts have been talking about it too, but I don't know the last top 10 quarterback to get in the situation that JJ McCarthy is in with the Vikings. You could not ask for anything better. And if it doesn't work out for him, it would mean that big question mark wasn't answered, I think, because he's going to have every opportunity to succeed on this offense, I think. So I think any Michigan fans, they should be extremely excited to see what this kid could really do. And if you are a Lions fan who also is a Michigan fan, you guys should probably jump ship and come to the purple and gold, because JJ McCarthy is going to make us at the top of the NFC North, and the Lions, they're going back to the bottom.
To add something to that, Kevin O'Connell had a commitment to the run this past year. It showed up in the first game. He had our running back had like 24 touches, and CJ Ham played 22 snaps, the most in his career, which is our fullback. It's the first game of the year, and you could see him try to work in the run as much as he could. Even later, when our running back had like 90 carries or 90 yards a couple of games, and it's like, so he tried to run the ball, but our fumbles early on in the season, we just had to go to the pass because we were turning over the ball. We were like -11 on turnover ratio going into our like 5th game. It was that bad in turnovers. So in many cases we had to abandon the run for that reason. When we started to look better is when our defense started picking it up. Because there was a stretch there we had one of the best defenses in the league, but it was bookend by kind of two terrible, start and an end. But I think where he's gonna fit in just fine is we did go out and get Aaron Jones, and there was a commitment to the run, and I think play action is probably gonna be a big part of this offense, and I think that's where JJ McCarthy shines, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Which is where Cousins shine too.
Yeah. And from what it sounds like, Kevin O'Connell, basically said, or the report got out there that he has a developmental plan in place. It's a day by day, like every day there's gonna be different tasks for him to complete. And if he doesn't reach certain benchmarks, they're not going to consider him for the starting job. So and that's the thing. It's like because they said the front office and Kevin O'Connell have done studies that, and we all know that putting a quarterback out there too early can be detrimental to their development. So that's the thing I love is that Kevin, they're taking this seriously. Like, it's not just drafting a quarterback and going. It's not the Patriots. Like, Drake May's starting for them this year, and it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
Like with JJ McCarthy, it's like Kevin O'Connell said, no, like we understand, like you have to develop your quarterback. There's a plan in place. And you're going to have to show me and prove to me that you can reach these benchmarks I'm setting for you before you get onto the field. And I think they're doing that as long as you stick to it. And, because if you start Sam Darnold, that we start out 0-3, because there's going to be boos at the games. There's going to be, social media is going to explode. There's going to be calls like put JJ McCarthy in the game. So he has to be able to stick to his guns and be like, you know what? He hasn't reached where I want to be yet. I don't want to ruin him. So it's just nice to know Kevin O'Connell has a plan in place. As long as he sticks to it, I think we're going to get the best of JJ McCarthy.
In my viewpoint, if we can ruin a quarterback, we took the wrong quarterback. So I feel like JJ McCarthy, if he is who we think he is, he should be able to reach those benchmarks, and our coaching staff and GM should allow him to take over that job, because it shouldn't take much, in my opinion. And I am the resident not hater, but guy down on Sam Darnold because he has had 5 years to prove it. We're looking at his. I mean, even though this is college of the pros, JJ McCarthy's 9 yards per attempt. Career-wise, Sam Darnold is 6.5. I don't know it's college, but even average quarterbacks are in the like low sevens or high, like 6.8 to 7.3 or something like that. If we want Captain Checkdown, we got him in Sam Darnold. JJ McCarthy, man, I think he should have the moxie to and the brain power to know 50, 60, 70 plays a week and execute them. I just feel like he has that personality, he has that drive, he has the study habits, he has the willingness to get better, that there's no reason why he shouldn't be allowed to win the starting job, in my opinion.
I think
that's my opinion. I want him ready for 2025 when we got 100 and whatever amount of cap space and we're going for it.
See, if he can hit those benchmarks, like there's a chance that, and actually we'll come back to you with this.
Bryce, I don't want the excuse that he hit the benchmarks and he didn't start.
Well, I think he should hit the bench. I think he should. I mean, the big thing for me when it comes to JJ is, like, regardless of maybe he comes in and he is a lot more ready than anyone even expected, but he is coming from a Harbaugh offense that was run first.
A pro offense.
But it's a run first offense. Coming from a run first offense to a KOC offense is a massive jump, in my opinion. And I don't think it's going to be that easy for JJ McCarthy just to jump. I mean, hey, maybe he is. But of course, obviously you see Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes sit for a year, obviously benefit them. So to say, like, I wouldn't say like, hey, we picked you expecting you to start right away. I mean, they didn't do that with Patrick Mahomes. Alex Smith is a good quarterback, but he wasn't anything where I'm like, okay, you can't compete at all.
They won 11 games though. We won
still,
6,
but it's Patrick
7.
Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes, right? We know what he ended up being. Everybody saw him in practice. Everybody knew what he was going to be. And I just think
Wilson started.
I think, if
that was a totally different.
But
case.
Russell Wilson came up and he was one of the better rookie quarterbacks ever, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, if you're ready for it, go for it. I'm not saying I don't think if he goes into training camp, it's like, okay, he's way ahead of what we were expecting, and he is better. He is ready to go right now. Start him week 1. But if that's not the case, I don't think you should be afraid to let him sit for. I mean, I don't know. I don't want him to sit for an entire year. But you want him. I mean, obviously, we want him to be ready early, because it is why we picked him. But he is 21 years old. He has.
Keep in mind, Russell Wilson came to a team where they just gave the biggest free agent contract, I think, in NFL history to a free agent quarterback.
Yeah, but it's also
beat him out.
Big Raylan. We had a top 10 offensive line last year, buddy.
Russell Wilson came in as a third-round pick that outperformed things. Like, it's different. It's a different mindset there. Like, he comes in thinking, that's it. I'm a third-round pick. I'm taking this job. Like, where JJ McCarthy could be thinking that as well, but he's also thinking, like, I get
first round pick, I'm sitting.
Yeah, but I mean, the biggest thing is,
my team has a plan in place.
We're arguing.
No, I mean, the biggest thing we got to look at this is, when we hired Kevin O'Connell, we hired him for this exact situation, to find and develop the future franchise quarterback of this team. Now he has that opportunity. So if his benchmark stuff takes until week 6 or week 7 before McCarthy sees the field, fine. If he's ready in training camp, even better.
Yeah,
I even think if he's not ready for the first year, I'm like, the problem is, like, everyone, as soon as Sam Darnold sucks and he doesn't get in there, everybody's gonna be called, well, JJ McCarthy must be a bust. He must suck. They're not playing him. But, like, I don't know. I just don't think that's going to necessarily be the case.
But the thing is,
let me ask you this, man.
Yeah.
To our new fans.
Right.
So I already forgot your name.
Bryce.
I'm the old guy. I forget shit. Bryce.
I remember our names. We've been working together.
I call them both Casey. I call them both Casey. No, I don't do that
Obviously.
as often.
No, you don't.
So JJ McCarthy, if he's gonna start, and I just think he's gonna have a longer leash. He's gonna have a longer leash.
Right.
If Casey brings up a point, if Sam Darnold starts, everybody's gonna want the rookie to start. We have a history of, and I know this is a different position, but we've had a history of Diggs not even dressing the first 3 games. JJ McCarthy playing behind Olabisi fucking Johnson. Our running back situation last year, he had to rely on like 2 people to get hurt to go with the running back we all thought was the better guy. The only guy he ever trusted seemed to be the Ed Ingram, our right guard, who started as a rookie. It's just we have a history of not even our best running back in history didn't start right away, and he didn't actually start the game until week 3. So it just seems like we got a history of not just going with the rookie. You think just from what you've seen, and one of the things with Harbaugh, it's a pro style offense, but does anybody think he's going to run it 60% of the time with LA? No. JJ McCarthy ran the offense as the same plays. It's just they ran it more in college than they do in the pros. But do you think JJ McCarthy is a guy that's going to be able to have the opportunity to start week 1?
I would hope not. I think everything you guys were mentioning before is pretty on point. I mean, let's go back to Russell Wilson. That dude was in college for like 10 years. He was at NC State, and then he was at Wisconsin.
5 years.
And then he was 5 years. Well, NIL and like COVID year, all that fun stuff has changed things, transfer portal. But yeah, you're right. Probably only 5 years. But he came into a pretty good situation. I think this is a great situation for JJ. I mean, you guys seem to really not like Sam Darnold. I think anytime you get drafted by the Jets, you're behind the ball. So I think
the Panthers,
yeah, exactly. And I think didn't he do all right with the Panthers for a while? With that,
he had some solid games.
He threw 400 yards against us.
Yeah, there you go.
Some solid game. I think there's a chance. You don't see it often. How often do you see a guy who kind of busts out and then ends up like 5 years down in his career? He ends up turning into a really good quarterback. Yeah. It just does not happen often, but that doesn't mean it won't. And I think if anyone's to do it, probably is someone like him who had he had tons of hype coming out of college. And like you said, he never had a good team to that could play around him. So I think there's definitely a possibility, but I'm not banking on it. Like, of course you're not. You drafted JJ McCarthy for a reason. You're not expecting Sam Darnold to come in here and be your starting quarterback. It was never the point we signed him for 1 year, $10 million. But
guaranteed.
Yeah. And is there a chance? Of course there is. And I don't hate him. Like I feel comfortable. I think he could be at the very least a high end number 2 or even a low end starter. I think there's a real possibility he could be a low end starter, maybe even an average starter, but will he ever be a franchise quarterback type of player? That's where I kind of doubt. And then if you have JJ McCarthy on this team and you drafted him number 10, you're banking everything that you want him to be good enough to take over Sam Darnold. You don't want Sam Darnold. You'd want him to be good, I guess, to some extent, but you don't want him to be too good where JJ McCarthy doesn't see the field, because you want JJ McCarthy to take over that job at some point, because everyone's banking.
Nothing I would love more than Sam Darnold to resurrect his career, become the freaking Hall of Fame quarterback, and keep JJ McCarthy and where we trade him for like 2 firsts. Nothing I would want more than Viking to crush. And we'll lose Bryce and whatever team we trade him to. That would mean that, hey, we got our guy. It's Sam Darnold, but I just don't see that. I go back and look at college tape and I see his receivers mossing people. I see a highlight reel that included him underthrowing a dude, allowing him to get tackled instead of going one-on-one with the safety to go score a touchdown. I see highlight reels of players playing, making him look good than the other way around. I don't see that. I see the other way to JJ McCarthy. So that's where I'm coming from with Sam Darnold. But there's no hate to Sam Darnold. It's just that I've given 5 years, and I keep on bringing to the point that, Teddy Bridgewater started for Carolina, had career year for Carolina, 3,700 yards, best he's ever did, completion percentage, 65%, QB rating 92. The next year, Sam Darnold comes in 72 QB rating, 400 yards passing, more picks than touchdowns. And it was in 6.5 yards per attempt, and Teddy Bridgewater set a personal record with 7.5. And it was the same coach, and it was the second year of the coach. Both both seasons they had DJ Moore. It's Teddy Bridgewater outplayed him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I think the question, and I ask you guys this. I think the question is this going to be a Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers thing, or is this going to be an Alex Smith?
No.
It'll be an
Patrick
Alex
Mahomes
Smith,
thing?
Patrick Mahomes thing for sure.
I would lean more to that. Yeah.
Because I feel like if you
I
get
think this is a good point right here. Like,
except for Alex Smith was good.
But like, this is the point right here. Like, you kind of hope that Darnold comes out and has a Baker Mayfield. Like, I honestly hope he has a Baker Mayfield type season, so that McCarthy has the benefit of not having the pressure to start, gets to sit for a year, absorb the offense from Kevin O'Connell, who's going to be working with him every day. Sam Darnold, like selling McCarthyism says here, goes off, signs somewhere for a decent contract, and it ends up resulting in a compensatory pick. And then the next year, they allow Sam Darnold to walk because they're like, we know JJ McCarthy is ready to take this job. And as Big Raylan Dad would like, use every pick we have in 2025 on offensive linemen, put him into the best situation.
And defense linemen.
I don't think Casey, I don't think we're saying anything different. I think if he is better than him and is ready, you want him to play, right?
Right. But I'm not, I don't want to put that.
And I didn't mean Casey, not Jamie.
Yeah, I know. But I just want to say, like, but that's the thing is, like, putting that expectation of, like, okay, we need to have JJ because we picked him top 10.
Soft bigotry of low expectations.
21-year-old kid to come in and be like, hey, we want to see him start right away. Like, I get why, and I'm kind of I hate the fact that we wait so long to start our rookies. But with JJ McCarthy being so young, like I already said, coming from a run-first offense, even though it's pro style, and I do think that is going to be very beneficial for him. If he's not completely ready, and it's fair to say he's not going to be ready right away being so young, and he has time. This isn't like Penix, who, he's going to sit for 4 years behind. He's going to be 30 years old by the time he gets to start, but still, like, you got time. So it's a lot of expectation for a 21-year-old kid to be like, hey, we need to see him start.
So we should,
he's a guy that you can do that.
Not trying to be a smart ass. Should we lower his expectations then?
I mean, maybe as far as like, okay, he's going to come in and win the starting job and be the week 1 starter, and we'll never look back again. Sorry, Rhino, I was interrupting you there, man.
No, that's fine. I was making a smart ass comment about Penix. So.
Oh yeah, that pick is still.
I still love the best comment I saw. I think it was Ben Gessling that made it during the draft. This isn't a marriage that's gone south. This is cheating on your wife on your honeymoon.
Yeah, it is.
Well, the Vikings have already moved on to a young 21-year-old, and Falcons are Kirk Cousins.
Young 21-year-old blonde.
Although I'm excited about our future, who has a better quarterback room right now than us or Atlanta? Like right now to win games.
Well, I mean, considering
I'm just putting it out there. Who's got a better quarterback room right now with guys ready to play?
We'll let you.
It's year 1 though. I'm like excited about our future. But Penix has got a future too, right? So
I do like Penix.
But
I liked him too. I'd have been happy. I would have been okay if we took him at 11.
And it sounds like I think I saw someone commented earlier that was kind of that they would have been comfortable with McCarthy or Penix at 11, but they felt much more
preferred McCarthy.
We decided to make a move up and get McCarthy because he's the guy we preferred. And had things gone south because they called the Giants bluff, had the Giants not bluffed and they taken McCarthy.
I told you guys.
All right, we'll take Penix at 11 then.
I told you I give those guys so much credit for bluffing the shit out of us to try to get us to go ahead of them.
Hey, actually, we broke even on our little deal here because I said it was smokescreen early in the process.
The interest was legitimate.
It was there though. They had interest.
I mean,
not in JJ McCarthy for sure. But
it wasn't that they weren't interested in a quarterback, but it was I didn't believe it. I think that it just didn't make any sense to me. Ultimately, they passed on.
They were willing to not only
it's for Joel
Jones with $40 million worth of cap hit, but also give up 2 first-round picks.
That's for Joel. That's for Joel.
Here's a question for Bryce. Harbaugh, and I love it. And he was almost our head coach. Like, we could have got him. Like, he was going to be our head coach, and we just decided to lovingly give him back to Michigan so you guys can wish a national title before we win the Super Bowl. But he says they asked him about weapons on offense. And he says, we consider linemen as weapons. And he drafts a weapon.
All-time
Right.
Harbaugh quote.
All-time Harbaugh quote. I will miss that man so much. I mean, he don't tell rival fan bases, Ohio State, Michigan State fans this, but he kind of left us in a precarious situation because we had the whole counter stallions thing, and then he took the entire defensive staff with him. And so we had to do a bit of scrambling here. And then also his shenanigans the last 3 years, flirting with the NFL, obviously flirting with you guys last year, was a little bit stressful and had its effects on recruiting, which college football, it's a big deal. And so, but that said, he got us a natty. And yeah, he had quotes like that. And the Harbaugh quote list is long and vast, and it's fantastic. And
I mean,
and
I think my favorite thing is the Harbaugh quarterback hype up before the games where he's punching him in the shoulder pad.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, he did that. He did that back in the Alex Smith days in San Francisco as well.
Oh yeah.
But Harbaugh wins a title and dips out of the Big Ten when the Big Ten gets like 4 teams that are probably just going to wipe the floor with him every year.
So we were just back to the whole expectations and starting week 1. What is your thoughts on that? Like, as far as like, do you think you would prefer to, because you're a JJ fan before all of this, before becoming a Viking, what would you like to see? Would you like to see him get kind of brought in a little bit slow? Do you feel confident enough to say, like, I think he's going to surprise you guys and he's going to be ready a lot earlier than most people think? Where are you at with that and what expectations might look like for JJ McCarthy?
Yeah, I'd love to put on my, meathead sports fan and be like, oh, he's going to take you guys to the Super Bowl this year. I do think he's 21 and he is a gunslinger. If you go back to the Rose Bowl game in the first quarter, he threw a pick. Thankfully that pick got overturned because Caleb Downs stepped out of bounds. Mm-hmm. And most quarterbacks, that shakes you to the core. In the Rose Bowl, in the biggest game of your career, and you throw a pick right away, months of shifts. Thankfully got the ball back and ended up winning that game. But the kid will throw the ball and the kid will sling the ball. And the reality is, I mean, we all know this, NFL is a different ball game. Windows are smaller. Reads got to be quicker. Guys aren't open. You got to throw them open. It's just a different game. And I think anytime you throw somebody in there, it's like throwing a kid in the deep end. And I don't think it's worth it. And then everything we've talked about, I think it's a great situation. There's so much talent around him, around the quarterback position in Minneapolis. And I'm reading all the comments here, and it sounds like everyone's pretty aligned, but let Darnold go, let Nick Mullins go, and then prep up for 2025. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I would not like to see him start week 1. That would not be ideal.
Do you think there's a good possibility, let's say, that he just takes the job outright mid-season?
He's a competitor. I mean, I think in the NFL, you guys got boo birds and you guys got loud fans. And if you lose 3 in a row, how much influence? I mean, exactly. You guys said, how much influence do you guys have? Will Kevin O'Connell be like, all right, it's time to make a change and throw him in? And just
we got him to sign a left guard.
Well, it's that's why he needs. That's like Kevin O'Connell. Like he needs to trust his process. And if he's like, no, he's not ready to go. I know we're losing, but I'm sorry, I'm not. I can't put him out there yet. He's not. I just don't. I don't want to ruin him.
Right.
So here's where I would be at with that. If like Sam Darnold took over and we're sitting there and mid-season and we're 2-6, I don't want him to go into that situation. I don't know. Because you have not been throwing the ball. I don't know if people realize this. And I'm going to have, and here's a nugget. I'm having Kyle Sloter on next Tuesday. And I'm going to ask him all about what it comes in and being a backup quarterback. And I'm pretty sure he's going to tell me that they don't get to throw the ball that much with the first team, if at all. Right. And his situation is like the third guy. Doesn't get to throw it at all. So now here he is. And we will know soon enough what we think of Nick Mullins, right? Because we may cut him. But in this situation, I was like, okay, we got Sam Darnold. We start out 2-4. Is Nick Mullins coming in? Or is who can throw 350, 400 yards in a game, which is crazy. But both Sam and him are big turnover machines. But I'm just saying, if it were 2-6, now we have a losing season. No way we'll make the playoffs. We're going to put them into a horrible, even worse situation than starting out the year. So I almost I would almost want him to sit out the rest of the year. Unless it's like gets towards the end of the season and we put him out there for a little bit when there's absolutely no expectations. Yeah. But I don't know. I know what you're saying, Bryce, and I agree. I went through like probably so many years now with people telling me we need to get rid of Kirk. We need to move on to the future. We need to start a guy if he's a top 10. If we pick him in the top 10, that's a guy that needs to play right now. His age is a factor, though, right? But I'm just like, I think if he's ready, he's ready. If he's not, he's not. And I want the merit system. I'm always going to be about the merit system because that's been my biggest complaint outside of the running game of our head coach is the merit system.
And JJ's got confidence. He's got no shortage of that. And so I don't know how much will really throw him off kilter, but NFL's a different game and there's a lot more pressure and there's a lot more money riding on it. So yeah. I would have confidence he would be fine, but I think we'd all agree that situations like that aren't ideal for youngsters, especially guys who just got their license to drink alcohol.
Yo, Big Raylan dad, you gotta use the tape, bro.
Start week 1.
use the tape, not just the numbers.
We've tried the numbers thing before. The numbers thing.
Yeah, the number. Okay, Kirk Cousins. Okay.
So I hope JJ McCarthy does not have good numbers and we win by defense just to make everybody happy.
JJ's gonna give us both. He's gonna give us both.
McCarthy said during his combine interview, they asked him about his lack of statistics and some of this stuff. And came out and said he's never been one really to be big on personal stats. The only thing he's concerned about at the end of the day is if they won the game.
Yeah.
Until he hasn't said anything different.
Yeah. He's lost one game. One game. He's a winner. And like we said, 5-star recruit out of high school. Like, there's a million reasons to think that he could succeed in
Spencer Rattler was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. So.
Yeah, and Spencer Rattler ended up being a 5th round pick.
Spencer Rattler is also a head case, but yeah.
Yeah, and we don't know how he's going to end up turning out. He could end up being.
He lost his starting job. JJ McCarthy
and he won what 4 games last year or 5 games last year.
Being a 5-star recruit isn't, but if you're looking at a player that, like, all the reasons that say JJ McCarthy didn't get his stats. Like, I mean, if people are worried about that question mark and you look at like, all right, this is what he did in high school. This is, the run first offense, like all these scenarios saying like, all right, these are his arm strength, his athleticism, what he showed in the pro day, like all these different things shows what he could potentially be. But saying like, I just don't get how someone could say you're saying just because he has a good team around him that he isn't going to be successful in the NFL because he went 27-1 with a good team around him. Like, that's a terrible argument, saying like he's 27-1, but he had good players around him. So I don't think he's going to be good in the NFL. That doesn't make any sense.
What impresses me is like the third down, completion percentage, is pressure rate, right? How fast he gets rid of the ball, like, his arm strength, tools that things that you can't really teach too. The two downsides for him is he is a little under 6'3", so he is actually below the height average of a QB in the NFL, and his hand size hand size are smaller than smaller than Dante Culpepper, and that was he was famously people complained about him because of all of his turnovers. Is that he has small hands. Well, JJ McCarthy has smaller ones. So but he did impress me the fact that he does have arm strength. And just the mobility factor and the eyes downfield and all that stuff you can see that are just sixth sense type of stuff that, either he had it naturally or he worked on it to get to where he was. He doesn't have a whole lot of stats is never going to bother me. Go compare these stats to players 10 years ago. And so like go compare him to Tom Brady's stats in college. He blows them out of the water.
Look at the offenses too. Like look at
different offenses.
Caleb Williams' offense, Michael Penix, Bo Nix. Those guys' offenses include a ton of bubble screens, tunnel screens, a lot of those short passes that you get big, first round picks like Rome Odunze. And Jordan Addison was with Caleb Williams last year.
Malik Neighbors
for Jay Daniels. Exactly. Like those guys go make plays. They make the yak plays, and those show up on the quarterback stat sheets. And Michigan's wide receivers, you got a 3rd round pick in Roman Wilson going to the Steelers, and then you got a 7th round pick, the other starting wide receiver going to the Chargers. Not a ton of talent on the outside, but JJ was still able to make plays. So I'm glad you guys are all on board with not just looking at the numbers, look at all the other intangibles and other metrics too.
Well, and there you throw in the fact that he wasn't playing fourth quarters, and you know,
great point.
Someone brought up the point that he didn't play the equivalent of 2 games, and so throw that in there. But I think Bears fans are putting out the differences of aura because JJ McCarthy's got to work on a suit game.
Tough look.
What's that?
Tough look.
Yeah, he came. You know, he's wearing this like I don't know, early 2000s shiny suit, and it looked like maybe he got it from his older brother. You know, and people were making fun of him. I made fun of him a little bit for it because what I said is he closer to puberty or a second NFL contract. But Bears fans were saying aura to aura, and they were showing, they're showing Caleb Williams and Michigan. I went and said aura to aura, and I showed him Caleb Williams just, slumping on the bench on the sideline after a loss, and I showed JJ McCarthy kissing the fucking trophy of the championship, and I said aura versus aura right there, motherfuckers.
Dude, JJ McCarthy's aura is like, that's what people's fans of. Like his leadership for being 21 years old is insane. Like the whole thing about him wanting to get wins and everything that comes out of his mouth is exactly what you want to hear from your quarterback. I mean, hopefully he lives up to that, but every single thing is leadership. It's all about wins. It's all about the team. It's all about getting better the next day. Or like even the whole thing about him talking to recruits. I mean, I've mentioned this before, but talking to the recruits and saying like, hey, if you're going to come here and chase girls and drink beer, then this isn't the place for you because we're trying to win a national championship. Like all of those kinds of things. Like JJ always says the right things. At the very least, you just feel like you're getting that leader, the kid with the right mindset and everything like that out of him. And I'll take that over, all the things that you hear from Caleb Williams. And
I'm gonna go home, play Nintendo, and hug my dog. Yeah, like Caleb Williams.
Yeah, and which I'm not a hater on Caleb Williams with a lot of his stuff, but you can't tell. Like, there's no way someone's looking between them and they're like, okay, I think Caleb Williams is the better leader between these two.
Although, give Caleb Williams some credit, plenty of people have said that people gravitated to Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people I trust that, from on TV that they said that just at like all-star events type things or just various events that players would gravitate to him. I think our complaint on Caleb Williams is that maybe football's not his number one priority. Like the fashion industry is, or looking cool is like a little more important.
He's kind of got a Russell Wilson more concerned about the brand than the kind of thing. I think
that's what it kind of feels.
Yeah, he's like got a brand or something.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't think JJ McCarthy showing up in that suit and the ball cap.
No,
well, that was part of his brand. NIL deal. So he's got a Olo. So I don't know. That was part of his NIL deal. Also,
what was his NIL? Say that again.
Is it Olo or ALO? It's some apparel company that he's got a deal with.
JJ McCarthy does?
Yeah.
That's what his suit was. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I'm buying it.
But that doesn't excuse it. He did
take my money.
He didn't look right.
Do they sell sizes in hefty?
It did still look like you picked it out from Men's Warehouse.
It did. It didn't fit right.
We got to be better, JJ.
I thought he said he thought the Giants were going to be the team to pick him, not that he wanted to go to, because everybody who.
He said that they were the team that most
talked to him.
Because everybody else that had talked to him privately, they'd all came out and said like every time he asked, like he said he wanted to go to Minnesota. Minnesota was the place where he wanted to be. So
and he said all the QBs that he talked to were they preferred if they could to go to Minnesota. I don't know if he should have said that out loud, but he did.
The one thing I like though about McCarthy, and I think Kwesi said this when they talked when after they drafted him. I guess during the visit when they were in Ann Arbor, McCarthy and Kwesi, is there a reason why the Minnesota Vikings would not draft? Not because he was full of himself or whatever else. It was because he knew if the Vikings saw flaws in his game, so he could work on something like, a 21-year-old kid thinking like that, that just again adds to the the aura about earlier, and the fact that this kid is mature beyond his years, and I think definitely a good head on his shoulders at the very least.
Hey Bryce, what do you say to the prognosticators or the assholes, I'd call them, that were saying that JJ McCarthy fell because the Vikings were able to take him because everybody had the opportunity to go get him and didn't take him. Like, that's how many teams passed on him and because they didn't want him. And Bo Nix and Penix went. Bo Nix would have went if Vikings didn't take him, he would have fell below Bo Nix too, or maybe even in the second round. What would you say to those guys?
Yeah,
and there were a few that did that.
Didn't Sean Payton say that he duped you guys? Duped us?
Sean Payton just can't beat us when it matters when he's not cheating, so it doesn't matter. He's just
Well, now there's a video. Now there's a video of the Jets saying.
But if you're going to be a Vikings fan, the first thing you need to know is
we hate Sean Payton.
Yes.
And he has lips like an asshole.
Like an asshole. Butthole.
Like,
what did he do with Vikings?
And they actually had a. I think they actually had a.
2009. This is our segment where we educate Bryce about who the Minnesota Vikings are. 2009 Bounty Gate. He was suspended for a year after that. They win a Super Bowl. We out yarded them like 500 to 200. We have 4 turnovers. They targeted. They had Shannon or what we won't say his name. Number 42, who's now in prison.
Yeah.
They were targeting Favre and hitting him late, high, low, restaurant calling it. But turns out that all year they were paying players to hurt players. And he got suspended for a year.
Was that Brett Favre?
And then in 2017, he was doing this to the stands, and then we dropped the Minnesota Miracle on him because he was calling us chokers.
Oh, okay. A good history lesson there.
And there are memes with his face, his 2 eyes, and his mouth were buttholes because we think he is one.
Yeah. Well, hey, I think it's going to be that video is going to be a meme when Bo Nix is nothing and JJ McCarthy is the future quarterback. I mean, how embarrassing will that clip be in the future if that's how it rolls out? Which
and apparently
you can't tell me you guys were just you wanted Bo Nix really bad.
Apparently McCarthy's not. We'll find out soon enough. Apparently McCarthy's not going to start, and probably Bo Nix will.
Yeah, we'll find, and Bo Nix will fail.
For those of you who watched anything of our show over the whole draft process, you know my feelings on Bo Nix. I believe Bo Nix is going to be the next Christian Ponder. And I believe that Sean Payton panic-picked when he didn't get McCarthy and took the next guy available. Same thing Rick Spielman did when he drafted Christian Ponder, because there was a run on quarterbacks and crap. We knew who's left and grabbed them, even though, Bo Nix was probably drafted 20 spots higher than he should have been.
Apparently,
Bo Nix
actually came and said that
to
they
give
wanted
Sean Payton asshole of lifetime credit. There was prognosticators predicting him to go to Denver. Like, there was smoke there. Yeah. So I don't know about that.
I think, Dave, to your question earlier,
part of that was just that was who was going to be left, kind of a thing too. But
I thought Penix was going to be left, right? Yeah. Oh well, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I think to your question earlier, Caleb Williams going number 1 was always a given. I think Jane Daniels actually surprised me a little bit because you looked at him at Arizona State and it wasn't anything too special, and he's in a Brian Kelly offense that is built around him. Plus, you have amazing talent. I think if you go down the list of the rest of the quarterbacks, I think Drake May was always going to be special. I think he's a 5-star recruit, and he had a lot of production in a terrible team. North Carolina is it's not North Carolina basketball; it's North Carolina football, and they're just it's not the same caliber, same expectations. And then you got 2 guys, Michael Penix and Bo Nix, who've been in college forever. And Michael Penix had the injuries, and I think we're all still shocked that the Falcons took him. And I think Bo Nix, that Oregon offense is one of those offenses that pumps up stats, makes you look really good. And don't get me wrong, I think Bo Nix is a solid, really, 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 really solid college quarterback. I don't know what it'll be like in the NFL. But I think I would have been very surprised if JJ would have dropped below Bo Nix in the second round. I just really do think the upside is there. So I don't know. The haters out there saying that, I think they're just trying to.
I think I think we got to add some
You're
context
jealous.
to Bo Nix. His coach left, and he, as a freshman, he was kind of lighting the Auburn, fan base on fire, beating Alabama, and his coach got, he changed coaches and then switched to Oregon. So I mean that happens a lot, and had 2 very productive years in Oregon. So he's played in 2 different kinds of offenses. So that's actually in many people's eyes, probably a bonus that he's seen different type of offenses. But I'm the highest on Bo Nix out of all these guys, but I listed him as a 2nd-round talent. So give me some credit.
Hey, I think he deserves to be there.
Depth of target in college too, but that's.
What'd you say?
Last year he had the 6th shortest average depth of target out of all of FBS.
And in the set a record for completion percentage and his
it's easy to
in one of the best pressure rates and out of the top 15 quarterbacks. So there's a lot of things you could lean on.
Well, because you're dinking and dunking it to the guys that are open, because that's what that offense is predicated to do. Get guys open, you make the short passes.
A guy did a stats and took out all his passes behind the line of scrimmage, and he was still 3,500 yards and 33 touchdowns. So it's like, okay. All right.
Yeah. But those short passes.
Yeah, but it's all short passes. Honestly, if he's in a West Coast offense, if you go look at all the slant passes they throw, he was very good at hitting guys on open windows. Very good at it.
Well, open windows, that was his thing though. Guys get open, he just
I'm talking about windows. You know what I'm talking about? Open windows when you do slants.
Yeah, but that's a
linemen and linebackers as they're running by them. You hit them in the open window.
The spot, not the guy where he's expected.
Man, guys, we didn't draft him. You can throw away the facade. You can throw away the facade.
Hey, you're the one.
Sean Payton ruined the whole thing for Bo Nix.
Okay, JJ McCarthy. All he did was run the ball. Okay, they didn't post any stats. You guys are the exact opposite when you're talking about Bo Nix.
You better knock this shit off, Dave. JJ McCarthy is the future of the Vikings.
He's going to win the Super Bowl year 1.
Bo Nix is a bust.
I think Alyssa put out that he's going to have 8 Super Bowls and beat. Did you see that? He had his high school and college rings.
Yeah.
Replaced them with Vikings rings.
Well, Alyssa is the queen of Viking positivity too.
Yeah. She is definitely.
We need some Vikings positivity here,
Absolutely.
Especially now,
sooner than later.
Now with Cousins gone, that kind of went away. That's why I'm like, everybody, you just gotta follow. You just gotta trust in JJ McCarthy, and if it doesn't work out, well, then it doesn't work out. But I
know you think the divide has gone away, but more people wanted Drake May. Like before the draft, would you Drake May as a quarterback, happy or no? And 85 said happy. I did the same poll with JJ McCarthy, it was 60-40. That was whether or not we took him at all, like at any point. That was the guy we got out of the draft.
We did.
Of course, it switched to like 95% happy now, but
plus we got Dallas
initially
along with that, which nobody thought we were going to do.
I got guys hating on me for promoting JJ McCarthy now, so it's like you can't fucking win.
For me, like when we were on Bleacher, a couple times we did. Would you rather have Drake May for 3 first-round picks or JJ McCarthy for 2 first-round picks?
And I think that's
a majority of them said JJ McCarthy for 2 instead of Drake May for 3.
And I think the hate was coming because we thought we were going to trade 3 first-round draft picks to go up and get McCarthy. I think that was the thought process. Is that if we're going to trade up, I would prefer that guy and not that guy. So I think when we took him at 10, I think a lot of people changed their minds, but there's still some dudes out there that just.
There's going to be people
JJ McCarthy
against him, but
most of those guys are probably Iowa State fans or Ohio State fans.
Yeah, right.
I did see one guy said, this is my worst day ever, but because I'm an Ohio State fan, but now I fucking love him. So
our buddy Ted Glover,
I've seen one of those.
As always, you follow him on Purple Buckeye on Twitter. He's a huge Ohio State fan, and now he's a McCarthy backer too, because he's once you get out of college,
Ted Glover?
That doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay, Ted Glover. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't see how you can not like JJ McCarthy because he has, personality, leadership, the winning, all that stuff, has all the physical ability that you want from the quarterback, has this, like we've been talking about, like that sixth sense to avoid pressure and extend plays with his arms. Like he has all those things you want in a quarterback. Of course, it is fair to say, will he be able to really open up an offense? I get that from anyone else's perspective because you didn't get to see that in college. But I mean, outside of that, like at least like there's a lot of hope that this kid could be good because he's shown everything good. The only thing that's bad is something that he hasn't been able to prove yet. So I just don't see how it's hard for me to believe that people just hate JJ McCarthy or just think he's going to be a bust when you weren't able to really see what all he can do, but he has all the intangibles to do those things. So I don't know.
I think people are naturally lazy and did not want to go do the homework.
Because this kid's got a lot of things you just can't teach. He's got a lot of things you can't teach with the winning mentality, and honestly, just that ability to improvise and avoid pressure and throw on the run. Like that's a lot of these. I mean, you didn't see it from Penix, you didn't see it from Jaden Daniels. You saw it sometimes from Drake May. Obviously, you saw it from Caleb Williams, but it was them two, and then the rest as far as like improvising when the pocket breaks down and extending plays with your arm.
You know the guy here's just a curveball. Pratt, man, going to the Packers. Was it Packers?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lane quarterback.
That guy should have got drafted higher.
I wasn't big on him.
You weren't?
No.
Why not?
I think he was dealing with some injury stuff too.
It reminded you of Kirk Cousins. Okay. He reminded you of a Pro Bowl quarterback. Shit, that guy's terrible.
I mean, your ceiling's Kirk Cousins.
We're talking about
the Pro Bowl anymore.
What round?
He went. I mean, he's worth the round he went. He probably should have went earlier than that.
Him or Penix? Or not Penix? Not him or Rattler. I mean, I go back and look at Pratt, and I'm like, dude, he looks so much. He looks so much better in college than Rattler did.
Yeah, Rattler just has that upside of kind of like the same thing with being able to escape the pocket and throw on the run and all those kinds of things too. But I wasn't really impressed.
Pratt can run
either.
Pratt's not slow. No, he's fine.
Rattler to me kind of has a Jeff George thing where he's got all the arm talent and everything in the world, but just a little bit up here is not necessarily what you want in a quarterback.
And Pratt had like a freaking great. He's got a great personality too. I think.
Because what was his rushing stats? I thought it was pretty not good.
Well, it's hard to tell with college because the sacks are counted as
I know,
he ran a 4.65 40.
That's not bad. That's faster than
it's
Kirk.
0.05 slower than JJ McCarthy. It was 4.6.
Kirk run is 40.
He ran a 4.88. It wasn't great.
Oh, he did. Yeah, 4.65. That's better than I expected.
Kirk's was more of a brisk walk, I think, than a run. But
so if I run and pull something, I'm not going to get drafted. I don't get any contracts, so I got to make sure that I stay healthy.
So, okay, let's do a little Viking trivia for Bryce. We usually stay on about an hour and a half, so we got about 12 minutes left. All right, my question. I'll do an easy one. Name 5 Viking great receivers. And it could be existing ones.
Randy Moss, Chris Carter. Do we count Diggs?
Yeah.
Miracle?
Yeah. Diggs counts.
I think you got to count Jet.
Yep.
I need one more. Don't tell me.
There's a lot.
Hometown kid. Hint. I consider him great.
What about the kid?
Complexion.
Plan.
Yeah. What about the guy who's in Carolina now? Is he still the white dude? Does that count?
That does.
Yes.
I consider Thielen an all-time great.
Adam Thielen.
All right. Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
Those are the 5 I would have said.
So,
Let's go.
Anybody else gonna play? Anybody else gonna play?
Before we do that again, guys, everybody in here, no Viking card today. I'm getting more. I'm actually trying to get some JJ McCarthy cards. Will be Michigan because obviously Vikings, he just got his jersey numbered 2 days ago. Anyways, we're going to give away the Anthony Edwards rated rookie card. This guy is an absolute superstar, and his cards are probably rising faster than any cards in sports right now because he's probably the biggest thing in sports right now. So get those hashtag SKOLs in the comments, like the video, and obviously subscribe to the channels, GG Sports Podcast, Minnesota Sports Podcast, Rhino with Vikings Uncensored, and then Bryce, what was the one that you
The Scarlet and Blue Show.
the Scarlet and Blue Show? See if I can go grab some links here.
Okay. Name 3 current starting offensive linemen
No,
of the Vikings.
I can't do that. Yeah, I got nothing for you there.
Okay.
Running backs. I think running backs is fair. Three running backs that aren't not including no one that's on the team today.
Because like there are three Viking great running backs.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson.
Ching.
Dalvin Cook, is he up there?
Yep.
All right.
Oh, you guys consider him great? Okay, I wasn't sure how he
Like
left off
fourth.
with you guys.
For the Vikes, yeah.
Probably 4th.
Oh, there's a.
It doesn't have to be great.
This is hard for you. This will be hard because it's
no one's.
after-
You're
before
not gonna
Peterson was a
know.
while.
Yeah, you're not gonna really know. You're not gonna know anyone
One
else.
of
No,
them is a current analyst.
Oh yeah, there's a college analyst.
College analyst.
I don't know. I'm looking at the comments, and there's some names here. I don't know any. Chuck Foreman.
Yeah,
Darren
Chuck
Nelson.
Foreman.
First go.
Oh, and then Robert Smith. Robert Smith. He's a college analyst.
Yep.
Is he do pro now? Robert Smith. He does dabbles in it. I know. I've seen him on a draft show.
A little, he does some of both, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What other positions do we have? I mean, I guess.
How about
name
this one? The
3
Vikings' greatest quarterback ever.
Oh,
gotta
not
be
even
Dante,
we can
right?
guess that.
Oh wait, Tarkenton.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, Dave says
You're
Kirk-
targeting everybody.
That's Kirk Cousins.
Who's
Kirk
the
Cousins.
who's the last great quarterback to wear number 9 for the Vikings?
Oh gosh.
Is he great?
Well, in Vikings lore, he is. He's the number 2 in all most statistical
Christian-
categories.
Okay.
Christian
Okay.
Ponder was 7, right?
yeah. You know,
He's very prominent in social media, this guy.
Yep.
He has a Packer urinal.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah,
a Packer urinal in his
he's not
house.
gonna know him.
Prominent in social media. That's a good clue.
Yeah, but this guy's old.
Quarterback
What
from
for us?
77 to
Vikings Twitter.
89.
Yeah. It's tough.
I'm seeing comments. Is it Kramer?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what it
Got
is.
it.
Thanks for the comment section. Thank you.
Hey, he wasn't supposed to have lifelines.
Well, feed
You
me
want
those
some-
answers.
And he spelled it wrong.
Ask him
Yeah.
to name kickers.
That's
I
my
was
mom's
gonna-
maiden name too, by the way.
They're
Kramer.
What's guy? Give me the best Viking moments. Go around. I want to hear. And you can't say Minneapolis Miracle.
Oh.
What do I
I
need?
mean,
What YouTube videos do I need to look up? And
Miracle to Met.
The greatest comeback in NFL history against the Colts in 2022. That
That's
was a good one.
cool.
Oh yeah, watch that game.
What's
Biggest
my-
Anthony Carter's 228 yards or whatever it was against San Francisco in the 87 playoffs.
Adrian Peterson almost running for 300 yards against San
Yeah.
Diego in the regular season.
Orange Peanut. If you
Wait. Anthony Carter, Michigan
Yeah.
legend, played for the Vikings.
Yeah, he was a stud.
Oh, yeah.
He was our best receiver ever
funny
up
story
until
on
Chris
that
Carter.
The coach
Yeah,
we had when Anthony Carter was here, Jerry Burns, he loved Anthony Carter so much, and he had a fondness for Michigan type stuff too. But when Chris Carter came, Chris Carter, of course, being an Ohio State player, Burnsy didn't like him, and so then Chris Carter said that he was cousins with Anthony Carter, so Burns would like him. And then after that, everything was fine. They're not related.
Yeah, it was
though.
AC and CC, and they played on the same team, which was great.
A Buckeye and a Wolverine.
Yeah, that was the handoff. But if you go back, go look at the '87 Vikings playoffs. That's a big thing in our history. The miracle at the Met.
there was
How about
Oh, it's just-
Go. You know, Randy Moss Thanksgiving game.
that.
um,
How about the Brett Favre to Greg Lewis?
Oh yeah.
For that back of the end.
They
The
won an
original-
SP.
the
They
original
won an
Minneapolis
SP. It was against
Miracle.
San Francisco.
Yeah, that was.
Or if you
that
want,
might
if you
be up
want to
there.
do some good comedy, go look up Jerry Burns' rant. It was after a game. I think it was in '87, somewhere in there, where
I use
The
it as
Vikings
one of my
won.
clips for one of my shows. Part of it.
They won by
I
kicking.
used the part where he wasn't
5 field
swearing.
goals. But yeah, it look for the unrated version because that if you get the bleeped out one, all you hear is bleep 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 bleep. But the unrated version is pure.
I put out a tweet one time, quote from Jerry Burns, famous quotes from Vikings head coaches, and I put Jerry Burns, and above it I put F, and then a few different marks to make it look like he just said fuck, because that's he's in a live interview dropping F bombs like crazy. But Jerry Burns, Vikings, it's very good rant. I used part of the clip to start of my one of my shows.
You gotta, I don't know if you gotta do a deep dive on Jay Jettas though. You gotta do a deep dive on him
the catches,
just everything he's done. So yeah, I mean the
Yeah,
Bills
Buffalo
catch,
game.
that's another
Yeah,
one.
that's right.
Bill, that's
Bills.
another big
I remember
moment.
that one.
Buffalo catch with
Bills
guys
Buffalo
were-
game.
Undefeated at that point, right?
with
They're on
the
a winning streak.
We were 7-1, I think, maybe.
yeah, and that was like Buffalo was the number one team at that point in the season at the time, and just how that game rolled out. But I would say that was probably one of my top moments too, is Justin Jefferson's catch. But obviously, I mean, he's a superstar. He's the best wide receiver in the league.
Oh, his
his
rookie year.
Just know what
His first
JJ
touchdown.
McCarthy's gonna have.
Against Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a sick play.
Justin Jefferson right now is
Yeah, he was a 2-star recruit coming out of
yeah.
He was
Louisiana.
skinny.
Well, and then coming into the NFL, it was all he is a slot receiver, this and everything else, and
Yep.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
he basically got the scholarship offer from LSU out of nepotism because his brothers played there.
I know something you have to watch. You have to go watch when we drafted Spielman and Mike Zimmer's face when the Eagles picked what's his
Jalen
Jalen Rager.
Jalen Rager, and we got
And then we
to
picked
call in.
JJ.
That's
That
a
was the
great clip.
funniest thing. That clip is the best clip because they're just. I don't know if you've seen that one, but they were
During
just
the COVID
new.
draft, right?
What's that?
During the COVID draft, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was the COVID
Yeah.
draft.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, you got to
Great
see
clip.
them all.
And if you want to see a compilation of all the worst Vikings moments up until up until Sam Bradford, go watch Urinating Trees Minnesota Vikings Legacy of Failure video. That's funny.
It's
That-
depressing, though.
That's gonna be a tab right now. We'll watch that one later.
I wouldn't start with that one, you know.
I gotta start with the
Urinating
worst.
Trees
pick the
hilarious.
best.
Even though
But I
that's
think we're currently the
up in the
6th
second round.
winningest team. We were 3rd up until last year. 6th winningest team since the Super Bowl era started. You know, only team in the top 15 teams that hasn't won a Super Bowl. So yeah, we're the
JJ
longest running.
coming to
We're
change
like
that.
the most due franchise for a Super or a championship,
Mhm.
like out of any team right now.
I would say almost the most due state.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that too,
Hey,
because we haven't won something since '91 except for women's basketball.
Well, it could
Right.
happen this year
We haven't
because
won
of,
anything since
because of this
91.
guy right
We
here.
haven't won
Anthony
anything
Edwards.
since '91.
Get the hashtag SKOLs in the comments to win this Anthony Edwards card. Bring in the Timberwolves to a championship, hopefully.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
I like it. Well, guys, this was awesome. I felt welcome. I felt welcome after that tweet. I did not expect that one to go that way, but it did, and I felt the love immediately, and excited to be on board. I admire the miserable fan base mentality that we have in terms of we're just been hard.
Final's the
and
most
grind,
miserable one.
but you guys are sticking with it, and these are real fans, and this is what I love. So.
But
Yeah.
but the one thing I will warn you about though
Let's go.
is if McCarthy doesn't play well,
Yeah.
Oh, God,
Twitter
you're gonna
will
get
not
fucking
be nice
ousted.
to him. So be ready for that. But let's hope.
But if
we
he
don't
does
even
play
need to worry
well-
about that.
If he does play well, which he's going to, we all know it.
You might turn it. You might turn into Bryce Spinoza if you don't know. Who,
Joe Spinoza. I'm assuming you don't know who that is.
he was a fan. He was just a fan of Kirk Cousins,
So he
and
jumped around.
he was very
wherever.
outspoken.
Oh,
So
that
if-
will be me.
So yeah, if it goes south with him, I'm gonna start calling you Bryce Spinoza.
Right. So I'm not gonna call you that.
I'm just
that's
kidding.
fair. That's fair.
I'm just
Also,
kidding.
so we never did get around.
You,
to
don't,
that.
you do
We'll
not
just-
want to take over that.
We'll just talk about it quick. JJ McCarthy was not the only first round pick. The Vikings were able to move up to pick 17. Sure, they gave away some mid round picks. Depth is what people are upset about. They lost on all the trade charts. I don't care. We got Dallas Turner for that defense. I was happy about that as well.
Dude.
What do you think of that, Bryce? Dallas Turner. Hey, the fact that we got, I think the reason why people are warmed like instantly up to JJ McCarthy is because we were able to get Dallas Turner too.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? I thought he was going to be a top 10. I thought he was going to Atlanta.
That's right.
I thought Atlanta was taking him. What do you think of us getting him, man?
He was the classic result of he was awesome freshman year, sophomore year, early on in his career, but he couldn't go to the draft, so you lose a little bit of hype. I think he's a top 10 talent. I think it's a huge get for you guys. For us. Sorry, for us.
For us, exactly. Yeah.
For us.
Big time sign.
Especially since we didn't have to trade that pick to move up to grab McCarthy overall. So that's why I think a lot of fans, I think that is probably a big reason why a lot of fans that weren't so pro JJ McCarthy are now, because they didn't have to give 2 first-round picks. And you got Dallas Turner out of it, and you get to keep your first-rounder next year. So
now, Bryce, name all of our draft picks, including our UDFAs.
Told you, still new to this. We're getting there.
I don't even know what's after.
Do you know who Ivan Pace Jr. is?
No.
You're going.
Oh shit.
No.
Yeah,
You will.
You better know him.
Go watch
Ivan Pace Jr.
You can literally go watch our video.
Yeah.
Go watch our video on
go to their channel, watch their video of Ivan Pace Jr.
Ivan Pace Jr. That's how you got to do. Go
and
watch
Ivan
Pace
both
Jr.
video, the actual video and the highlight video. Watch them both.
Yeah, watch it. Yeah,
And GG Sports Podcast. We're on GG's channel right now, so we're not even on my channel right now. We're on GG Sports Podcast right now.
Yep. Ivan Pace Jr. video. Go check that one out. That will give you everything you need to know about that kid. And spoiler alert to some extent, he went undrafted. He was supposed to be drafted in like the 3rd round last year. Went undrafted. We picked him up, and he was
Unanimous All-American.
Yeah, he ended up being, top easily, in my opinion, easily top 5 rookie defender last season.
And we got him as a UDFA.
No one can do it.
And he immediately played.
Gabriel Murphy. That's all I got.
Dwight McLaughlin, that's another one. Corner.
McLaughlin, I like him.
Hendrick, Roland, Flack, Cloyd.
There he goes.
Gann. Tamani, something in that.
Yeah, it does.
He's big, like 6'6", 330.
Both wide receivers out of Mercer.
Hmm.
I can't remember their names off the top of my head.
Hey,
I just talked about these guys a couple of days ago, so they're a little bit fresh in my head yet.
What's up, Gary?
We got the kicker. We drafted a kicker. That's huge.
Yep.
What
do you think of Alabama's kicker?
Oh, he's an assassin.
Hell yeah. That's what we like to hear.
Hey,
and of course,
we do not have a good track record with kicks.
No, that I know.
Yeah.
So
heartbreaks. It's pretty much 90% kicker.
Jan Stenerud was the last guy. No, I'm just.
Yeah. But of course, the best pick in the draft.
Actually didn't give me PTSD every time he walked on the field.
The last pick for the Vikings, Levi Drake Rodriguez. That guy's going to be fun to watch. He seems cool. Seems like a nice guy. We'll see if
he's going to be a fan.
He is now he's Mr. Sexy over Nick Muse, I think.
Yep.
He's got the Fabio thing going.
And what's the
Jason
Momoa thing?
Jason Momoa, that's a good comp. Yeah, it's a good comp. When your NFL draft pick comp is Jason Momoa,
you know you're gonna be good. All right, let's do this giveaway here. I need to find there it is.
I'm gonna go tweet that now.
All right, we got 12 entries. Got to be here to win. Given the Anthony Edwards, the future face of the NBA. I'm working on some JJ McCarthy cards. Hopefully we get some by next week. But we're going to run a card that's pretty good value. Anthony Edwards. Get the hashtag SKOL in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe. All that kind of good stuff. We'll give this away pretty quick here. What's up, Norris? What up, Nighttime?
Drop your hashtag SKOLs in if you haven't already.
Yep, get those hashtag SKOLs in. Hey, Bryce, what was the name of your channel again?
Scarlet and Blue Show. At Scarlet Blue Show.
At Scarlet. Perfect.
You putting it in the chat or what?
Yeah.
I'll go sub.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'll do that.
Everybody subbed Scarlet Blue if you want. Is it Scarlet and Blue or Scarlet Blue?
It's at Scarlet Blue.
And this is Bryce converting to a Viking fan. And you got to go here if you want a lowdown on JJ McCarthy as a Minnesota Viking. He's the place to go to get that good information on what our future could be looking like. And I think it's going to be looking pretty bright, in my opinion. Yeah,
I'm subbed.
On Pup. Yep, subbed.
Appreciate it. Well, guys, I got to jump here, but this has been awesome. Again, honored to be on here. Honored to be part of SKOL Nation. Let's ride. JJ McCarthy. How many Super Bowls? 3, 4?
At least.
I was told 8.
Got a one up Tom Brady. Yep, got a one up.
He's now
Tom
the
Brady.
GOAT.
Okay. All right.
He's not going after Jordan. He's going after Tom Brady.
I love it.
All right, Bryce. Thanks for coming on, man.
If he wins one, we'll build him a statue. So that's all we have.
Yeah, if he wins one, we could all die and we'd be happy. That's the thing in Minnesota.
There we go.
Go subscribe to Vikings Uncensored with Rhino as well, 100%. But
All right, Bryce. Take her easy.
yeah,
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's give away this card. I'm just gonna run it right now. I think we got 17 in here. I think that's
a
good.
number.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Anthony Edwards, future NBA championship for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let's go. Who's winning this card tonight? Who we got? Got to be here to win. Everybody knows the rules. And we've got Norris comes in and just snatches it. Comes in and just takes the old snatch.
Shows up late to the party and wins the prize.
I'm going to take the red pill.
Norris.
I want the red pill. That's his logo.
That is what it is. I'll take the blue pill.
You would.
Norris, you're still
Norris,
here. You're still in here, right?
There's no chance. He would jump in, toss a hashtag SKOL and dip. There's no chance. No shot.
Jamie would stay hooked to the machine.
Oh yeah, 100%. That was a snatch. He has to be here to win. Come on, Norris. I know you're in here.
Hey, there he is.
There he is. Hey, we've already talked over email, right,
I'll get
Norris?
both pills.
Or Facebook. Just hit us up on our email or Facebook. I'll just put it in here just in case. But I know you just won a card recently. I'll just do it just in case. But yes. And then I'm working. I said, actually, dang it. I had an alarm set on my phone to buy these JJ McCarthy cards and it went off. Well, we'll see. We'll try to get them. But congratulations.
Anything else before we hop off here?
Yeah, I didn't get my prize or $27.50, but I'll wait till next week. I hit $27.50 this past week or something. So, and I haven't. I got to find the. I haven't got to find the guy that I won the 2,500 either. So I got to give away my 2,500 and my $27.50. 2,500 was already won. $27.50 I got to give away. So I'm gonna take that out next week.
Norris, you never got your Addison? It is possible for these to get lost in the mail. But I'll definitely get you back on that for sure. Another rig game, Commie Bastards.
Yeah. But anything else? Anybody got anything? Any last second thoughts?
I'm the never win because I'm not a. Hey, you'll become one, Bill Graylin. You'll become one. No, I guess one question for Rhino, I guess, how did you just feel overall with that first round?
I was one of the guys who was hoping we were going to get Drake May. I had him ranked slightly above McCarthy. I was kind of looking at it as who I thought was the best fit for O'Connell's offense, not necessarily who I liked the best. And Drake May to me gave me that Matt Stafford type vibe, and of course O'Connell was part of that Super Bowl team with Stafford down there. But I had McCarthy as a close second, and when started hearing how much we were offering, New England, and then they're still saying no and stuff like that, I was perfectly fine moving on to McCarthy. When Atlanta came on and we heard him say quarterback, my heart just about dropped into the pit of my stomach, But I expected them to move, up to 5 or something with the Chargers to get McCarthy. And being able to only go up to 10 and then turn around and get Dallas Turner, I couldn't have planned it out any better if I had written it myself. And the thing,
we were pretty smart.
Chill, Gary. You didn't buy any swag yet.
We deserve kudos. We had us trading up to 8 to get him, and then we got Newton at 23. He ended up going to the second round though. But so if we had that draft, we'd been happy as shit. I think all of us would have. But it was even better. No, I think this was a better outcome than anybody ever expected.
Or
honestly,
if they expected an outcome where it was, getting either Penix or Dix, and then, maybe doing 23 or something like that.
And I think, honestly, you brought up Matthew Stafford. I honestly thought JJ McCarthy is a good comp to Matthew Stafford, but maybe more thrifty with the interceptions, potentially. Because, he likes to swing it a little bit.
I like McCarthy's mobility,
physical ability.
Stafford, I think, but and it's a little bit more.
I do too. Like going in, because I feel like I saw Stafford play in college, and I had a good buddy that was a Georgia fan, and I was like, I don't know about this kid, but and he was really, he had a lot of hype coming in. But I think I remember when I think about him coming out of college and thinking about what. McCarthy coming out of college, I like McCarthy better coming out of college.
Gary, I will promise you, I will get you some swag for sure before the season starts.
And Gary,
probably soon.
And
we'll work on that.
And don't be saying that you bought things you didn't receive, because there's some people on Twitter, if they find out about that, they might call us out and come after me and Jamie.
And do background checks on it.
Yeah, and they'll probably do background checks on it.
Get accused of shit you didn't do.
Yeah, speaking of that, Norris, hit us up, Norris. Hit us up, Norris. Make sure to take care of
and then win prizes on our live show. Did he actually, was he in there that he actually got a prize from you effers?
Who?
Boom Boom SKOL.
I don't think so.
In our live, which one was there? Was it you or Casey?
At the draft?
It was Jamie.
It was you.
I was me. You couldn't remember me being at the draft.
Well, you were just acting like you weren't there. I mean,
I was
Boom Boom SKOL.
Oh yeah,
was in the chat and won one of your cards.
No, that was he won one of
won a card.
Well, not it was it was. Yogi.
Did he win it? Like I went to go get another beer.
Yeah. He won Yogi's. I think he wasn't. I don't think he was there though.
Okay, good. You better not have won anything. Everybody's like dabbing him up, like freaking Rap is dabbing up. That's my guy. I'm like, fuck. Okay, Rick Sosa's my guy.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Gary, we got you, bro. I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on that.
We still gotta get hats and t-shirts.
I think that's what I gotta do. Is we have the t-shirts, but I don't like them because we made the logo too small. I made the logo too small. Well, I was making an order from like across the country.
Is it drop ship? Or is it?
No, it was a company. I should have went through an online company.
I worry about drop shipping with quality. I don't know.
Yeah, I love the quality of these shirts. Are awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of Skull Fest, the schedule release, they're thinking should be early May, so it should be.
Well, last year was May 11th.
Last year was May 11th.
Probably next week. Yeah.
What's that?
Are you in Minnesota?
North Dakota.
Oh, you are in North Dakota. Are you coming to SKOL Fest or what this year?
I was going to go last year, and then I couldn't make it work out, but I'm going to try this year.
Let's go. What about those hats?
No. You
don't want this, bro. I'm telling you.
It's got my hair. It's got my sweat in it.
You guys boxers or briefs?
Briefs.
You would.
GG Sports Podcast.
Like a red pill.
Your way.
That's a blue pill.
Blue pill, and he wears briefs. Jesus.
Tidy whities. Is that like its own category?
Yeah,
dude. Undrafted. That's another thing. A+, crazy. I don't care what anybody says. I think he does have I mean, you don't just get the best free agent, undrafted free agent class 2 years in a row and say he has nothing to do with it.
Right.
I've come down from my high of giving him a superior, but yeah, it's a nice still. But a lot of people, what do you guys think? Giving us like fucking C's.
I think
I gave that
it's because of we gave up mid-round picks for depth, but then at the same time when Spielman traded back, everyone's like, "What's he doing? He's just getting a bunch of late-round picks anyway." I don't to get JJ McCarthy and Dallas Turner and give up. Yeah, I would have liked to have kept a couple third, maybe a fourth-round pick, but at the end of the day, Kwesi, I love that he just took a swing and went and got a couple blue chip players that he wanted.
And that's the thing. Everybody complained before about Kwesi being too passive and trading back all the time. He was aggressive when he got two of the consensus top 10 to 15 players in the draft.
Right.
And then I saw somebody on ESPN complaining that the Vikings were too aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't
No.
win.
Well,
I
I said there was a difference between overpaying and outbidding. There's a difference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, the Jets were like doing the, I don't know, they were their standing ovation for their GM trading down one spot, because if you go look at when we got Khalil, we traded down one spot from I think 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, one spot in the top 5, and we got a third-round pick out of that. And now here we are at 10, trading up one spot, and we gave up a 4th and a 5th. So value-wise, obviously, it's a little, on the high. It's on the high side. You probably only have to give up one pick normally.
The Dallas Turner one was for sure on the high side.
And then Dallas Turner, we gave up quite a few picks. But I'm like, but the guys we got, you know what I'm saying?
Well, and we thought we were gonna have to give up that other first round pick just to get JJ McCarthy. So
we thought minimum 2 first rounders to go get McCarthy, and we don't have to give that up.
Right. That was just an A by itself, was the fact that we didn't give 2 for him, and then we turned that other one into Dallas Turner. That's everything I would want from this.
And we still have next year's. And we still have
and
next
then
year's.
the context is, and then add the context is we're gonna get a third rounder. I think one third rounder at least next year.
One.
We still got our first, and then throw in all the cap space. So put that into context, and you could easily turn that first round pick into like 10 picks. You could trade down like even twice and get all those picks back. It's not a thing. Yeah. It's not a thing.
Right. Well, and if Swayze doesn't make the move, we don't get to see the Kevin O'Connell reaction, and that's all different.
That's a meme for life. It's a meme for life.
He looks like a shocked puppy.
Really? Oh yeah, that's a meme for life, and especially once Dallas Turner, becomes the best edge rusher in the NFL.
If you go look at his spider chart,
if
you do yourselves a favor, go to NFLBuzz.com and look at his spider chart. The only thing he's not a like elite at is bench, and it's because he's got 40 or 35.5-inch arms. Mm-hmm. It's sick. He can touch his knees standing straight up. He is so long.
Hey, what up, credit card?
He's when you talk about drafting traits, he got all of them. He got all of them.
Dude, he's gonna be a stud. But both these guys are gonna be a stud. Yeah. Anything else, Rhino? We appreciate you popping on, man. Yeah, obviously, you're welcome anytime. We love having you on here, and man, let's just hope JJ McCarthy turns out, and then we're good, man. We're good.
Yeah, absolutely. Lone Skull, we did actually talk about that earlier on. Might need to just afterwards rewatch the video and see our thoughts on that. We had a lengthy conversation about when JJ McCarthy.
It was a little split. It was kind of all over the place. So I would say if he's ready for it, if he's absolutely ready, then go ahead. But if he's not, or if there's anything like that, then don't rush him.
For sure. But thanks everybody for hopping in. I mean, lengthy show, almost 2 hours, but of course, there's finally some new things to talk about here. New franchise quarterback, all that type of stuff. A lot of things going on, and it's only going to get better when we get the schedule released and start looking into that. So, thanks everybody for hopping in. I'm sure each channel will have shows coming out the rest of the week, and into next week we'll keep doing these during the off season and everything. So, thanks again. See you guys next time.